Okay, so welcome to the Foodimals guessing game video tutorial. So I'm going to explain how you're going to be creating this interesting game. First of all, there are lists of different type of Foodimals here that you're going to see on the left side. So you need to pick about 5 or 6 of these Foodimals that you like. You can obviously pick more, but I would suggest 5 or 6 pictures that you like and use them, or you could decide to use all. And the objective of this game is basically to create a list of all of these different Foodimals and put their names in the list, and then basically allow the computer to choose randomly by picking one from that list, so one of these Foodimals, and then allowing the users that are going to use your program or game to be able to guess what the computer has chosen. Now, this is a guessing game, so that's the fun of the game, is that users have to try to guess what the computer chose. And if they guess it right, of course, it means that you can add them some points and tell them that you have this many points at the end. And if they guess it incorrect, then you can tell them, that you have gotten it incorrect. You don't have to subtract anything. So there are a couple of things we're going to do to create this game. First of all, you notice that you're using this turtle, this little turtle icon. So that means you're using Python Turtle, which is the library in Python programming language that allows you to put graphics and makes your game fun and interesting looking. So that's what's going to go on this white area here. So let's go and design a simple home screen. What you need to do, first of all, is go to this website called lunapic.com, and it's opening on my screen. Once you get in here, go to File and select New Blank Image, because you want to be able to get this canvas so you can design a nice background home screen that you're going to be putting in here, so it looks interesting when you start your program. So you get this white canvas once you go to File and you selected New Blank Image. You're going to get the white canvas. Now you can decide to select a color for your canvas. So let's say I select maybe this color, something light, or even this color, and you are happy with your color, click on choose and click go. You don't need to change the size of your canvas, making it larger or smaller. This size is pretty okay to fit into your output area right here. So you're going to click go. The color is going to be applied to your canvas. The next thing you want to do is go to the borders and select a border tool. And of course, you want to make, you can decide to select a border that has tiled background. So if you want to do something like crazy, for example, you get like this type of border. Or if you want to just go with the colored border, you can also just get a colored border depending on what you're going to do. So I'm going to go with a colored border. Once you're satisfied, you can also increase the thickness of your border, making it more, much more thicker than it is. And then you click apply. Now, once you got your border, you can apply another border. If you go into borders, you can select another type of border like picture frame. For example, if I click on that, I'm going to get another border like this. So I think I'm going to stay with this 2 borders that I have. It looks pretty good. So you may decide to get another border if you want. So remember, you go border tool first, or you go picture frame, or you go to border tool first, and then you can also add picture frame. Now, once you have your border ready, the next thing you want to do is to put a nice text title on your design. So you click on the text icon right here, T icon, type in something fun. So I'm going to write Foodimals guessing game, just the title right there. And then I'm going to choose a type of like Foodimal, like a type of font, sorry. So I'm going to go with Jelly Roman. I really like this font. It just brings everything really nicely out. So I'm going to leave the size as it is also. I like the size. And don't click apply text until you are satisfied placing your text the way you like it, and the color and everything else, and the font size and the type of font before you can click apply text. Because once you click apply text, then the text is going to stay there and you can't move the text. So you want to avoid doing that. So right now I'm going to stick to this text, font style, and I think I'm going to stay with the font size as well. And I'm going to choose a color for my text, and I think I'm going to go with blue. And once you're satisfied, then you can now click on apply text. and it's just going to stay there. You can see that now once I try to move the text, it's not possible. So, this is a simple, nice background design for your Foodimals guessing game. Once you have this ready, you're good to go. So I think that's enough. You don't need to design any longer or any more, unless you want to put stuff like shapes for some reason or something like that. But we're not going to be putting that in. Unless you want to like add it, let me just show you how. You could just, click on the shape. I clicked on the square, but you can change it to a rectangle and you can decide to get a different color. For example, I might get green color for the borders, and you can increase the size of the border here. And if you draw it over here, it can be a nice square in the middle, which I think is pretty good for our Foodimals guessing game because we want to put the Foodimal that the computer's chosen. And so that's the reason why we're, putting this rectangle. So you can make it as large as possible. You can do something like this, and it's pretty cool. It also works really nicely, and it's enough space to put in your Foodimal right there. And yeah, and I think I'm gonna keep it. So if you want to put a, nice square in the middle, you could do this. And then once you're satisfied, you can click apply. But one thing I want to do is I want to change the color of the border of the rectangle. I'm going to use red instead. So I think I'm going to have something like this or something a bit more shiny. I think this is fine for me. So I'm just going to click on apply. So that stays there. Now, once you've finished your design, this is pretty much what you need to do. Just a simple, nice background where you're going to be putting on here so that you can show your Foodimal up here. Once you're done, you go to this, just scroll down because you've already applied. So you scroll down, you're done with the design. Make sure you get the option for save. I think you can just click apply again if it doesn't really like show. But you should be able to get the option for save. So let me see if I can go back to text. If you don't see like an option that says save over here, then make sure you go back to text because you're supposed to see a save option. So just go click on text or something and then scroll down. You should now see the option for save. Okay, like this. So now it shows. Before it wasn't showing when I clicked on apply for the rectangle. So that's okay. Just click on any of these options, especially just clicking on text tool so you can go back and just go to save. But I would suggest that you click more on more options because if you click save, it's going to download this for you as a PNG or even as a GIF. You just may try to download it. If you see it downloaded as a GIF, you can use it as a GIF image. Like that's the extension. If you click save and it downloads it as a GIF, that's fine. If not, you have to click on more options and then you have to say save as a GIF. So any one is fine. Just make sure you save it as a GIF because when you're using Turtle in Python, you have to make sure that the pictures are GIFs. You notice that all these ones are GIFs. So now I have the picture. Your picture is downloaded to your computer. Now you need to go to your computer. I'm going to refresh. There is my picture. I need to upload it into the program. So that's what you're going to do in your program. You're going to click on the three dots, select upload, and then just go back and select your photo, this design that we did, and then click open. It's going to upload. You can also drag and drop. It can also work by dragging and dropping. So it also uploads that way. Now I have my photo in here. As you can see, this is now my background photo I'm going to use for this side. So what we want to do to get this program started is first of all, change the name to just call it background or like image or something. And then once you change the name, so now I have it as background. There it is. It's now this one. It's called background. Go back to the main and then now you can get started with your coding. So the first thing you need to do is obviously you're going to have to put in, I would suggest you start putting in the headers over here because I'm going to provide you the space to put your headers, which means author name, your name, okay, program name, and then the name of your program, which is just foodimals.py, and then date created. So put the date you started working on this project. I'm going to put the 23rd of July 2023. And then date modified, which is going to just be blank because you are not working on it. So you're not modifying it now, you're just creating it. Once you're done, the first thing you need to do is to import Turtle. So Turtle is the library that allows you to put in graphics, like I said. And in terms of graphics, we definitely need to put graphics because we have like this background we need to put over here. We have like these Foodimals we need to show. You can also get some nice photos of Foodimals as well online. There's so many different types of Foodimals. This was actually enacted from the animation movie that's called Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs. It's an animation movie, so you can actually go and find more information from that search online. So what I wanted to do was to show you how you could go there, but you can just click on this tab right here and you know, you're able to go there. Let me just see if I'm, oops, there it is. I was just trying to go there to show you. If you go to Google and you do a search, if you want to search up Foodimals, you can say Foodimals images, something like that. If you hit the search button, you should be provided with some, but the only thing is when you download these photos of Foodimals, if you like any, you have to remove the background and you also have to make the size of the photo smaller. So unless you know how to do that, you might just want to stick to the ones that I've already provided you, which makes this whole project easier. Okay, so the next thing to do is, sorry about this, I'm just trying to get my program to open for me. So we are finished with the whole, I'm just going to close this. This is where you can go get some more Foodimal ideas over here. So now we have our main, go back to the main, and we have imported the turtle library to put in the pictures. The next thing we want to do is to import time. That's going to help us like make some time pauses, like if we want to print something and we want to wait for 1 second or 2 seconds or 3 before we print something else. So this is a very good library that allows you to put time pauses in your program or in your game. The next thing we want to do is to create an object of your turtle screen so you can be able to put this background picture over here. So how we do that is we're going to say screen is equal to turtle dot capital S screen again. So make sure you're following the syntax. So this allows you to command the screen and put stuff that you want on it. So here we're going to start with the whole screen.bg pic because we want to put the background picture and open brackets. You're going to put the name of this background picture and my name is just called background. So you put it in quotation marks and you're going to put background. So I'm going to just zoom this in so you can see while I code properly. So here I'm just going to write down the name is background and then .gif. That's the name of the photo. So now if I actually zoom this out and I run this program, you're going to see that the background photo is going to show. So you can see that it's just appeared immediately. So when you write these blocks of codes, you should be able to run your program by clicking the run button and you should be able to see your background. Maybe you just need to zoom out a little, but you should see your background. You can also put background color. So you have to do screen.bg color. If you want to put a background color, you know, to bring out your, so you just put black, like, or any color you want to bring out the whole background design that you have, just making it look good. So like now I just put black and you see that it's just making everything stand really well. So yeah, so you got in the first part ready. Now you're just going to get the next parts. So the first part is putting in your background, which you have done with these codes. Next thing you're going to do is to create. So these are comments I'm just running to explain what's going on. We're going to be creating a Foodimals list. Okay. So we're going to call it Foodimals. Here we're going to be listing all of the Foodimals that we want the computer to guess from, like all the type of Foodimals we want the computer to pick randomly from. So I'm going to pick just like 3 of them just for the sake of an example, but you can add more Foodimals. So I'm going to pick cucumber. I'm also going to be picking flamingo. And you can add more. Just this is what we call creating a list in Python. First, you have to give a variable name equal square brackets, and inside of your list, you're going to put things. So I put first option, second option, separating that with comma, put another option. I'm going to go with cheese spider. So just make sure you spell the names properly of these Foodimals. So cheese spider. And I'm just sticking with 3 Foodimals in this list. So this list is going to help the computer to choose randomly one of them and allow the user to guess what the computer has chosen. Now I want to start the whole game. So I'm going to create, actually, I think I'm going to create a function from here. I'm going to create a function so it's easier if the user wants to restart and play the game again. So please go to the line just before the Foodimals and then write def, which means define a function. And just going to say game or start game. So that's the name of my function. You notice I'm not giving spacing. Do not give spacing because if you do, you're going to get an error. So you want to avoid that. So variables don't have spacings. Put a colon here and then just space in what you have written under the function, like the Foodimals part, just give a space and just space it in like that. So this function is just going to help us whenever the user wants to restart the game. They don't have to go and click the run button again. They could just, your program is just going to ask them, do you want to restart? And if they say yes, we just call this function with its name and it starts all over again. So now we've created the list of Foodimals. Now we're going to create a variable called computer choice, where the computer can choose one of these Foodimals randomly. And one thing I forgot to do is you need to import the random library. Oops, over there, sorry. Go up here after import time, import random. This library is going to allow the computer to randomly select one of these Foodimals, and then you're going to ask the user which Foodimal did the computer select. And then if the user says, guesses, you have to print it for the user so that they see the list of Foodimals and say from this list, which Foodimal do you think the computer is select or has selected? And if they get it right, of course, you say, good job, you got it right. So we're going to create this computer choice now that we've imported the random library. We're also going to create a variable called user score, which we will award scores to the user if they guess correctly. So we started at 0. And here once you define anything out of your function, actually on second thoughts, you could just create it over here. So that way you don't have to use the global keyword because you're defining it outside. So user score is equal to 0 at the beginning. So computer choice is equal to, we're going to make the computer randomly choose any option from this list. So we're going to say random.choice and then open brackets and put the name of the list, which is Foodimals. So this way the computer can choose any one of these Foodimals, and then we're going to ask the user, what did the computer choose? So what we're going to do to start this whole process, now that we have created the list of Foodimals, you can put more than 3 of them. Make sure you add more. You should have about 5 or 6 of them. This is just because it's a tutorial. I'm just showing you what you can do basically, but you can add more Foodimals. And here's the code that allows the computer to choose randomly one of these Foodimals, which is why we imported random. It allows the computer to choose by using this random.choice. And inside of the brackets, you're putting the name of the list. Now we're going to create a nice welcome message. So we're going to say print. I'm going to do a nice design over here. You can also use emojis, actually. Emojis are a very good way to kind of put like a nice design as well. So if you want to use emojis, that's a good idea. Something like, I would say, fun food emojis if you want to search them up. I'm also going to go show you where you can get, I guess you can go to Emoji Food Guide or something, anywhere you can get them really. If you want to get an emoji, you definitely can. I'm just trying to look like for a smiley face emoji that I might actually use. So if you click on smiley face or full face emojis, you can copy it and then go back to your code and then just paste it in there and you have your emoji. So like that, something like this, just to make it fun for the user. So let's try it out. Sometimes when you put too many of them, you can get an error. So we'll see if we don't get any errors with our emojis. Sometimes it says invalid character. I'll run it and see if we're getting any errors. But for now, I'm going to print a nice welcome to the Foodimals guessing game. You can print a nice comment. And remember that this is a print statement is used to display something on the screen, on the console. And the console is over here, which is this part. If you take your output up, you see the console. That's where this code's going to run. But if you want to take your console and give more space to see the output, you can actually just drag it. So remember, it was originally here. I just dragged it up here. And it gives like more space for the output, and you can close the shell. You don't need to see shell. So now you can like see your output really well, especially if you zoom out really nicely. You can see everything if you just take it to the side. See what I mean? Like really nice view. Okay. So let's go back and let's do the print Foodimals game. I'm also gonna do something like a nice, probably just see if I can copy this emoji and put it down here without getting any errors or anything. And the next thing I want to do is call this function just to see if this part of the code is working, because we do have an error with the emojis. That's something tricky about emojis, is that when you put so many of them, for some of them, it doesn't work when you run it and you go to console to see the run. It doesn't, it gives you like an error. So if that happens, I'm going to replace it with some other key on my keyboard. So right now I'm going to call the function start underscore game, circular brackets, and then let's run and see if we get any errors. Ooh, I did not get an error. That's pretty cool. So yeah, you can use emojis for sure, and it makes everything look good, as you can see here. This is my output, and if you take it to the side, this is like the part that we just did now for the emoji. There are some things I'm gonna fix here in the emoji design of my like beginning of the code. I'm gonna just add some more emojis. So I'm just gonna copy one of them and just paste it just to make like a nice complete line of smiley faces. Again, this is optional if you want to do this. So if you run it again, you will see that it's working that way for me. And another thing is you can put a nice color to this text so it looks nice. If you go to this website called Lihawi, and Lihawi, you can find, this is the link, it's called lihawi.com. You can search it up. If you go on Google, I'll just show you how to search it on Google, and you go to google.com. Hopefully it opens there. There it is. And you search Lihawi like this, and you say ANSI escape color codes. You will be able to get the exact website that I was on right now, and you're going to be able to get the color. So it's loading, just a little bit slow. There it is. This is like the first website. That's the one you should click on. That's the one that I'm opening right now. So I'm just going to close it because I don't need Lihawi. I'm also going to close the emoji because I think that's the like the kind of emojis I'll use for this code. That's like enough. So I'll just close that as well. Yeah, I'm trying to close that right now. Okay, there it is. And I'm just going to close my emoji page. Now back to the Lihawi. Again, search it up and you're able to find it. It's lihawi.com. I'm going to go straight to 16 colors. If you search it up, you can just close that if you get any notification. I'm going to take a color because I want my text to stand out. So I'm going to take red color. It basically what Lihawi does, these colors are called ANSI escape color codes, and what they do is they just help to change the color of your text that you have to display on the console. It changes it from white to some other color. So if I put the red color, you just have to paste it inside of the quotation marks. If I put it like that, now if I run my code, you're gonna see that the color's changed and it's now like reddish color. So that's kind of what I wanted. You can also, if you want to move this to the center, you just use a tab space if you want to move it further in, and it just moves it further in for you like that. See, that's what I wanted. Now, once we're done, go back into your function. Make sure you're inside of the function, not outside. So don't start your codes from here. No, no, no. Go back into the function and we continue coding. So now what have we done? We're welcoming the user. We're going to tell them to guess the Foodimals. So we're going to tell them, are you ready to play the game? So we'll start with a question like that. We're going to say, I'm going to call this variable ready. And I'm going to say string input. And I'm going to be asking them, are you ready to play? So are you ready to play, yes or no? So I'll put a question mark in space. Make sure you give like a space, a line space, so it's not too close to this welcome message. So you can give a forward, you can put a /n, which means it's going to give a line space. So if you run it, you're going to see what happens. You see that it gives a space. If you don't want this text to be in red color, you want it to be in another color, then just go back to the Lihawi website and you can choose another color of your choice, or you can just get it back into white or reset the color by just copying the reset color code and then going back and just pasting that in there. And that's just going to get it back to white. So if you run it, it goes back to normal. So if you want that way. So you ask them, are you ready to play the game? And as long as they say yes, so you're going to say if ready is equals to yes. So if ready, as in the variable ready, is equal two equal signs to yes, because you provided them with the option of yes or no. If yes, then you can now print the list of Foodimals, like this list over here, and tell them to guess the Foodimal. So I'm going to print and tell them, please guess the Foodimal that the computer will choose. So please guess the Foodimal, okay, that the computer will choose. And you could give them a time frame. Maybe after you do this message, since we've already imported time, remember I said it's used to create time pauses, I could say after time.sleep, and this is how you say it. You say after 2 seconds. You can put any amount of seconds in here. The more seconds you put, the longer the wait. So I'm just going to say after 2 seconds of saying please guess the Foodimal that the computer will choose. After 2 seconds, what's going to happen is I'm just going to print the list of Foodimals, which is this list right here. So I'll just put a print again, and then in brackets, I'll just write the name of the list, and that prints it out. So if you run this program right now, this is what happens. It says, are you ready to play? If I say yes, it says, please get the Foodimal. You see it waits for 2 seconds, and it prints for me the list. If you want to print the list in colors again, that means you're going to have to go get a particular color. Let's say I want to print it in cyan color. I copy cyan, go back to my code again, and then here I have to put it in quotation marks and put a comma, and then just paste the color code in there. And now if I run it, and I'm gonna get, like if I say yes, look what happens. I get 2 seconds and it prints for me in cyan color. So that's another way to differentiate stuff. Okay, so after this, I move on. We have printed the list for them. Now we need them to enter their choice of the guess, what the computer has chosen. Because right now, remember that this program is running where the computer is choosing, is guessing. And one thing I want you to do is, and okay, never mind. I just figured out something else. So here we're tell them to guess it. Now you have to allow them to enter their guess. So you're going to say, what is your guess? So I'm going to go back and I want to reset my color back to white. So I'll just copy the reset color code. And I'm going to create a variable called user guess. And it's going to be equal to string, open brackets, input. I'm going to tell them. And then don't forget to paste the color, the reset color code that just takes it back to white. I'm going to say, what is your guess? You can give a space if you want. It doesn't have to be too close. And then question mark and give a space for them to answer. So what is your guess? And then now you're going to say if they guess it correctly. So if the user guess, which is what, they're guessing, is equal to what the computer has chosen. And remember that the computer's choice is stored under this computer choice variable. So if it's equal to computer choice, then if they got it right, we're going to tell them, woo, you got it right. And we are going to show the picture of the Foodimal that the computer chose. So regardless of whether they get it right or not, we're still always showing the picture of that Foodimal. So we're just going to print and we're going to tell them, woohoo, you got it right. You can say, yay, you got it right. Something like that. You guessed right. Okay. And then if they got it correctly, and then you can add them points because you have this variable called user score. So you can add them a point here. You just write user score. And then you can say plus equal 1. Plus equal 1 means you're adding 1 to them. Or you could say user score is equal to user score plus 1. So plus equal is just a shorthand of how to write it. So here you're giving them a choice, like a plus 1 if they get it right. And also you're going to show the picture. So how I'm going to show you how you're going to be putting pictures. Now that you have your background picture, and remember that in this background picture, we have like I designed a rectangular box where I wanted to put like the Foodimal photo in. So here's the box where we're going to be putting the Foodimal photo if they get it right. And even if they don't get it right, we're still always going to put the photo of the Foodimal the computer chose. So right now, if you want to do that, you have to create on Turtle. If you're using Python Turtle and you want to put picture on your screen, you're going to create something we call a pen. So it's just like a normal pen or pencil that but it's actually pen graphically on the computer. So we're going to create a pen. We'll call it pen equal turtle.turtle. So first we'll create it. And then we're going to say pen. So you have to start with this first code saying pen up. So telling the computer to raise the pen up because you want to use the pen to put in that picture of the Foodimal. So you're going to tell the computer pen up, then you're going to say pen.go to. You have to specify where you want the computer to go and put a photo. So a good thing is to put it at the point of origin. This means where the x coordinates is equal. So just like x coordinate in graph, it's equal to 0, and the y coordinate is also equal to 0. So that's just why I'm saying 0, 0. You can put anything here. You could put minus 300. That means it goes more to the left, and then 0 for y. So that's like top center. You can put anything. You can put positive 100. So as long as you put any numbers, like numbers that will make the picture look nice and centralized, that can work. So you can be changing the numbers until you get the right position. But in the beginning, we're going to put it on the point of origin, so right at the center, and see how it looks like. And then we're going to say pen dot pen down. So we command the computer to now put the pen down. And now we're going to put the picture. We're going to say screen dot add shape. And we're going to put the picture that the computer has chosen. And just before you put the picture the computer has chosen, you kind of have to do a little trick here. So the computer may have chosen cucumber, may have chosen flamingo, may have chosen cheese spider. We don't know what the computer chose. So what you could do is just before you say screen.add shape, and that's where you put the picture, the name of your picture based on what the computer chose, you're going to say if computer choice, so just the line before, is equal to cucumber. So if the computer chooses cucumber, you can create something and say picture. So the right picture you're going to put is basically equal to cucumber.gif, because that's the name of the photo of the cucumber picture. So we're saying if the computer chooses cucumber, then, which is the first option, then we want to show the cucumber photo. So we're going to put cucumber.gif, okay, over here. And inside of screen.addShape, you're just going to put in the variable picture. So like in here, you're going to put picture, just that's all. So because, you don't know what the computer will choose, but whatever the computer is going to choose is going to be always stored under this variable of picture. So we're going to do the other options. What about if the computer chooses something else? So we're going to say, if the computer chooses flamenco, right, because that's the next option, then what are we going to put? The flamenco picture so it can show. So we're going to say flamenco. So on the next line, after you say else if means else if it's not this, then if it's this one, then you're going to come down here and you're going to say, okay, so picture is going to be flamenco.gif, right? Because that's the picture that we have here. And then the last one is elif. If the computer chooses cheese spider, then of course the picture is going to be also showing cheese spider.gif, because that's the name of the photo right here. So whichever choice of what the computer chooses, and you have to do this for all of your Foodimals that you have listed. So whatever the computer chooses, you have already saved the name of the picture under picture, and you're adding it using this line by saying screen.addShape picture. So regardless of what the computer chooses, it will show the right picture. And the last thing to show the picture would be just to say pen dot shape, and then again in brackets put the name, which is picture. That's all. That's it. Now, once you've done that, the next thing is that's all for this part. You're finished. If the user gets it correctly, you've already said you're going to be adding 1 point. You are going to show the picture of the, of the Foodimal. And now we're going to do the part of what about if the user does not get it right? And one thing I realized is actually, what about a situation so that we don't have to repeat this block of code, because otherwise you're going to have to do the elif part and say else if user guess is not equal to computer guess. One thing we could do is, regardless of if the computer guesses it right or not, or rather, let's just continue our journey. I was thinking of something else, but I feel it's better if we just continue the other way around. So we're going to say, so this is if the user guesses it right? So we show the picture, we add 1 point, and then we show the picture of the Foodimal the computer chose. Now you have to make sure you're on the same line here. Be careful. You have to be on the same line as this if statement and come out after this last thing that you said, pen.shape, and you're going to go do else if. What about if the user does not get it right? So if user guess, and this is how we say not equal, exclamation and equal. If it's not equal to computer choice, well, first of all, we have to tell them you did not guess right. So print, we can say, sorry, you guessed wrong. And then we can tell them what the computer guessed. So tell them what the computer chose. We could do something like another print. And then we'll tell them the computer, oops, don't forget to put this in quotation mark. The computer chose, so you just type that in. The computer chose, and then you just basically give a space and put a comma right after the quotation marks because you want to call this variable computer choice, which stores what the computer chooses, like right at the top here. So it's not a string, it's not a text, you can't put it in quotation marks, you're going to put it outside. So computer choice right here. Okay, so here you're going to say, okay, the computer chose computer choice. Now, once you've printed that, you can now go down and you don't have to subtract one from the user unless you want to make a game like that. Whenever they get it wrong, you subtract one. But actually, in this game, I'm not going to be subtracting one. I'm just going to only add one when they get it right. So right now, I want to show them the picture of this computer choice as well, just like I did with if they got it correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this part. You can just copy this section right here of where they like the part where we show the picture of the Foodimals, so you don't have to like repeat the code. Just copy the exact same thing because it's going to be the exact same thing to show the Foodimal, and then just paste it down below here, and so that's it. So what is happening is that it's going to show the picture again of what the computer has chosen, just like it did when they got it correctly. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. And now you hit enter, and then again you come out of the whole else if, because that's all. You've told them that they haven't got it right, they got it wrong, and you're not adding any points. So you've already just given them the message and told them what the computer chose. And then now you have to ask them, would you like to play the game again? So you make sure that you're on the same line as this elif, and then you're going to write create a variable and say play again. Make sure that you do not you're not in the same line. You have to trace this up, making sure you're on the same line as this statement, which is on the same line as this one. Okay, so indentation is very important. Now, play again is equal to string, open parenthesis, input. You're gonna be asking them the question, do you want to play again? And you could put color here if you like to make it fun. I'm gonna put maybe like a yellow color, and then just go back and ask the question saying, paste the color again, the color code, and say, do you want to play again? So do you want to play again? And then if they say, oops, I need to finish this question. So do you want to play again? And if you say, or if they say yes or no, the users say yes or no. So you can see that I just said, do you want to play again? And I told them how to answer it. So it's good to be specific of how you want the answer to be. Question mark and a space. And then I'm going to say, if they say yes, if play again is equal to yes, then I'm going to call the function by its name. And this is the reason why we created the function, is just because it makes everything so easy to repeat without me typing this entire code all over again. So you can avoid the whole part of typing all over again. So I'm just going to call the function by its name, start game, all over again. So I'm just going to write, okay, if they say yes, then I'm going to call the function, start game. And it's going to repeat again from the beginning, where they go back and the user score is set to 0 again, and then everything else starts all over again. So that's the fun thing. And if they say no, so you have to hit an enter and say elif. If their answer is no, then obviously you have to tell them, okay, well, print thank you for playing, and you have to show them what their score is. So you're going to say thank you for playing. And one fun thing I want to do here is a nice way to show them the score. So I'm going to do print, and I'm going to do a what do you call this, quotation marks, /n, and I want to give like a next line space so they don't, this message is not too close to what I want to write. I want to give a next line space. So I'm going to print here, and I'm going to put like a nice decor. I want to use like ASCII art. This is what we call ASCII art, just using random hyphens from your keyboard. I'm not counting, so you can put as much as you like. And I want to do something like your score is, so some sort of nice decoration. This is a bar, by the way. You can find it on your keyboard, but you don't have to put it if you don't want, but it's the bar symbol. So here it says your score is, and then I'm using this variable user score. And if you guys remembered, user score is the one that we actually created to set at 0 at the beginning, but now it's just going to show them how much they've scored from guessing the Foodimals. So that's why I didn't put it in quotation, because it's a variable. And then here I'm just going to print the whole, like, again, just copy this line. You could just copy this line, and then you could just paste it down here. So it's pretty okay for that. And then if you want to like put this in color, you can go back to like where you put the /n, and then you could just like print and then put again another brackets, a parenthesis, quotation marks, and then just go get another color if you want that. Maybe I'm going to get the magenta. I've used like a lot of colors in here, and then you could just paste it in there. And then what that means is that this is going to show in a specific color, and that's pretty cool. So that's it, guys. That's all. This is the part where we kind of end this game, and that's like the end. If they want to play again, they get to play again. If no, they get to see their score, and that's where the game ends. So now let's run it and see how it works. So going back to the run page, I'm going to maximize my output because I really want to see this look really good when I'm playing this game. And I'm going to close anything that's extra. I'm just going to go to my console, and I'm going to rerun this game again. Okay, this is a pretty nice view that I want. So the game started and it says, welcome to the Foodimals game. Are you ready to play? I'm going to say yes. Please guess the Foodimal that the computer will choose. Okay, what's my guess? What could the computer choose? I'm going to go with Flamengo. Let's see if I'm getting that right. Oh no. So we can see that the computer actually chose the cucumber. So that's the fun thing. So here I could decide to play again. And I didn't get this one right, so I'm just going to say I want to play again. Okay, it says, welcome to, you see that it repeats it again. So welcome to the Foodimals game. Are you ready to play? If I say yes, okay, it says, all right, get ready to guess. I could try my luck again. Maybe I'm going to guess cheese spider. I might get it right. Let me see what the computer chose. I hope I got it. Oh no, the computer chose Flamengo. Okay, there's a little problem here is, the fact that the picture, you notice that this, like the pictures are overlapping. So that's a small problem we have to fix. We have to make sure that there's nothing on screen. Like when they want to play it again, like the screen's refreshed and the previous picture is gone. So the new picture can show properly. For now, we're going to fix that problem. But for now, if I say no, then it basically just ends and I got 0. My score is 0 because I never got anything right. So let's go back and fix this issue of this overlapping photo kind of thing. So what's going to happen is the part where they say yes, if you ask them, would you like to play again? That's the part where you're going to be putting some codes to fix this problem of having 2 photos overlap. So how we're going to do that is we need to delete the screen, like clear the screen and bring it back again. So what's going to happen is before we call the function to get started all over again, we're going to have to do something like we're going to write screen.clear, which means clearing the screen, getting rid of anything. And then we're going to put again our background color. So the one that we used in the beginning, which I used black, by the way. And then we're going to put again the background picture. So I'm going to use the same background picture I used, which is, I'm going to write it again. So screen.bgpic. And then my background picture, remember, was this one. So I'm putting this back again. So you need to put that back again so we can like go back and be afresh so that the next picture that's going to show is not going to overlap. So I'm going to do background.gif, put the name of my background picture. And so now we've cleared the screen. We've brought back the background color. We've brought back the background picture. So now this is going to be clear for the next picture to show. And then we can now call this function to begin the game. So let's see if this works. We're going to go back and I'm going to rerun. I'm going to close this photo that I just opened right now. So I'm going to rerun this again one more time. And so it's starting. I think I need to make it a little bit more wide and zoom out a little. I think I just need to zoom out actually. And so it begins the whole thing and it's asking me again, are you ready to play? So I'm going to say, yes, I am. And then it tells me to choose. So I'm going to go with Flamengo this time, or maybe not. I keep choosing Flamengo. Maybe I'm going to go with Cucumber. I might get it. I guessed it right. Woohoo! So I got it correctly this time. Okay, so I got 1 point. Now it says, do you want to play again? So if I say yes, this time you see that it's now gone to normal. So you don't see those overlapping photos. So it says, are you ready to play? So if I say yes, and now it's beginning again, it's going to show me what is my guess. So I'm going to do Flamengo. Let's see if I got that right. It says, no, sorry, you guessed wrong. The computer chose cheese spider. So you can see cheese spider here. Do you want to play again? If I say no this time, so it tells me my score. And one little problem is my score. Again, we notice there's a little problem is I got it right, but the score is kind of like not updating. It's giving me a 0 and I'm supposed to get 1 point. That could be because we have our score. Now I realize that because we said yes, we wanted to play again, so the score goes back to 0. So that is a problem that I was actually thinking about it in the beginning, but didn't realize that it would actually cause this problem. But it's because they say yes, they want to play again. That the score goes back to, well, I said no, sorry, not yes. I did say no. So the score is not updating to show me the user score. And that's because, well, because where here I said I wanted to play again, when I said yes, then obviously the score was reset back to 0. And then I didn't get this one right. And that's the reason why I didn't get my score as to 1, which makes sense because I don't think even we need to change it because I said I wanted to play again when I said yes. And then it went back again and my score, and then I didn't get anything, so the score was reset to 0. But if you still want to avoid that, even when they say yes, you don't want it to reset even if they got wrong, do you want them to keep their score, what you could do is just remove this code from here, like the user score equals 0, and put it outside instead. When you start it at 0, it should be outside of your function. But what you could do is global the user score, because you have to global it if you want to use it inside of this function called start game. So it can still keep the score even if they say yes and they lose. The score is still going to show based on what they got before. So here it's just going to be global user score. So the score just still stays. So if they say yes, they want to play again and they lost, then that's where the score will still keep whatever they had earned before. But if they say no, then obviously that's where it goes back to user score. So if you want to do this, it goes back to like the showing just the user score. So if you want to do it this way, you can. If you still want to keep it at 0, you can, which eventually would always just show the score unless like the last updated score. So let's run it again. And this time what I'm going to do is a little bit of a cheating here because I want to see if this is working to keep my score. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print. You don't have to do this. I'm going to go to the slide after computer choice. And I'm just going to print computer choice right here. So print, I just want to see what the computer is choosing so I can get it right, just to see if my score is working. So I printed it, but you don't have to print it in the game because they don't need to see what the computer chose. It's a guessing game. So I'm going to stop it and rerun it again, and it's running again. And now I can begin the game all over again. So I'm going to say yes, I want to start, ready to play. And it says, please choose the Foodimal. And it's telling me what the computer's chosen, as you can see, is Cheese Spider. So I'm going to get this one wrong, maybe get it wrong, and then get it right and see if when I run it again. Flamengo. So it says no, that the computer chooses Cheese Spider. Okay, do you want to play again? I'm going to say, yes, I do. It restarts again. Are you ready to play? I'm going to say yes. And what does the computer choose this time? It chooses Cucumber. So I'm going to get this one right. So Cucumber. And it says you guessed right. So now if I say, if I wanted to play again, so let's go with the whole I want to play again. Yes. So this time the computer is also choosing Cucumber. So let's say yes, but this time I'm going to get it wrong. And then I'll say no, I don't want to play again, just to see if my score is still there. So Flamengo, I'm going to get this one wrong because the computer is choosing Cucumber. So I'm obviously getting this one wrong. So now it says, do you want to play again? If I say no, then you can see my score is still kept to 1. I'm not getting it reset to 0. So this game works properly the way it's supposed to work, and that's all about the Foodimals guessing game. So I hope you have fun making this game, and that's pretty it, and thank you very much.